Yep, this is Candor Talk, where we discuss politics, social issues, entertainment, and all things hot. We aren't afraid to hit hard because exposing the truth comes without fear. Join us every Saturday at 11 p.m. Let's go. Yep. What's up, fabulous people? How you doing on this wonderful Saturday? All right, you guys, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm not feeling that well today for some reason. I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm just kind of like very tired. But nevertheless, let me just get right into it and let's get on with it. All right. Trump got 63 million votes in 2016. Let me reiterate. He got 63 million votes from American voters in 2016, which means 63 million people thought he was qualified to be the most powerful person on earth. In addition, Republicans won the House and the Senate. It was the ultimate trifecta. However, let's be candid. Republicans, especially in the age of Trump, have shown that they are not qualified to be in office. There was a time when Republicans believed a country superseded any party. Here's Lawrence Hogan in 1974, a Republican, discussing Nixon's impeachment. Just listen to what he's saying here.
I wish with all my heart that I could say to you now that the President of the United States is innocent of wrongdoing, that he has not committed an impeachable offense. But I cannot say that. After having read and reread and sifted and tested this mass of information which came before us, I've come to the conclusion that Richard M. Nixon has, beyond a reasonable doubt, committed impeachable offenses which, in my judgment, are of such sufficient magnitude that he should be removed from office. The evidence convinces me that my president has lied repeatedly, deceiving public officials and the American people. He has withheld information necessary for our system of justice to work. Instead of cooperating with prosecutors and investigators, as he said publicly, he concealed and covered up evidence and coached witnesses so that their testimony would show things that really were not true. He tried to use the CIA to impede the investigation of Watergate by the FBI. He approved the payment of what he knew to be blackmail to buy the silence of an important Watergate witness. He praised and rewarded those whom he knew had committed perjury. He personally helped to orchestrate a scenario of events, facts, and testimony to cover up wrongdoing in the Watergate scandal and to throw investigators and prosecutors off the track. He actively participated in an extended and extensive conspiracy to obstruct justice. To my mind, he is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of having committed these impeachable offenses.
I mean, listen to the parallels here. This is literally history repeating himself. He summarized legitimately every single thing that Trump is basically doing right now. This was a Republican who said, no, I don't care if he's a Republican. This is what he did. And these are the reasons why I think he should be removed from office. And it did take Republicans, and I'm going to be honest, it did take them some time to finally turn on Nixon. But they ended up doing it. They pushed him out before he could be impeached. Now, here we are in 2019, and here are the Republicans of 2019, the Trump Republicans. Here's how stupid they are.
In modern history, we've never gone after impeaching a president in the first term. Remember what Al Green said. He said, we have to impeach him because we cannot beat him. Remember these new freshman majority that gave them the majority makers? What'd they say on the first day that they were sworn into Congress to leave? I'm going to impeach the person.
Impeach. But Al Green added something to his call.
I mean, what the hell does it matter what term we're in? What does that matter? Essentially, the argument is that it's irrelevant whether the imposter commits a crime in his first term, because we must rely on precedent, ignore the criminality, and at least wait until the flagrant foul is reelected. Don't impeach him now. Wait until he's reelected because that's precedent. I mean, can you imagine being this stupid? Literally, how do people get this dumb? And what does it matter whether Al Green or somebody else said, we need to impeach him, as if he makes up the entire body of Congress? What does it matter if he said that? If Trump commits crimes and he violates his oath of office, then he should be impeached, irrespective of what people said previously. I mean, just imagine being this incompetent. But there's more. There's more. Don't think Republicans are just going to be, it's a one shot and it's off. No, here's more. Here's Jim Jordan being as dumb as he always is.
I thank the gentlelady for yielding. I heard the last speaker from Texas on the other side talk about election interference, talking about campaigning. How about the FBI spying on 4 American citizens associated with the Trump campaign in 2016? And the people running that investigation, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, people running that investigation were the ones who said, we're going to stop Trump. They're the ones who said Trump should lose 100 million to zero. They're the ones who said we have an insurance policy. They're the ones who ran that investigation where they went to the FISA court and lied to the court. We just learned this 2 days ago, lied to the court 17 times. Didn't tell the court the guy who wrote the dossier was, quote, desperate to stop Trump. The dossier they're using to get a warrant to further spy on the Trump campaign. Didn't tell the court the guy who wrote the dossier was working for the Clinton campaign.
Who gives a shit? He won. What the fuck? You guys are still acting like he didn't win the election. I mean, just imagine being this stupid. So his premise is that even if Trump committed crimes, it shouldn't matter because others might have done things that are wrong too. Cool. Great theory. Then I think we should let everyone out of prison. Right? If the argument is that it doesn't matter if you commit a crime, as long as you can point out that others allegedly did something wrong too, then why is anyone in jail or prison? You should be able to go to the prosecutor and be like, yo, look, you can't really prosecute me because other people are doing some bad stuff too. Or they might have done some bad things. So I don't know why I'm here. So you might as well just drop the charges now and let me go home. Because that's essentially what Jim Jordan's saying. Jim Jordan's saying, well, if we're going to talk about wrongdoing, let's focus on the things that are not related, completely irrelevant to the case at bar, which is impeachment and whether or not he should be impeached or not. Let's not focus on those things. So their defense is basically, well, other people did stuff wrong too. So why is it just Trump? But everybody should be able to get a defense that says that we did it. This is how these people are. This isn't coherent. This is not cohesive. This is not logical. This is so disjointed. Their arguments are so ridiculous. But it's not just Jim Jordan too. There's also Mitch McConnell prejudging the trial publicly and telling people before evidence is presented that he has no intention of being a neutral arbiter in the case. Here is Mitch McConnell.
Make a decision about the way forward. And everything I do during this, I'm coordinating with White House counsel. There will be no difference between the president's position and our position as to how to handle this. To the extent that we can. We don't have the kind of ball control on this that a typical issue, for example, comes over for the House. If I don't like it, we don't take it up. We have no choice but to take it up, but we'll be working through this process, hopefully in a fairly short period of time, in total coordination with the White House counsel's office and the people who are representing the president in the will of the Senate.
So the turtleneck leader, literally a turtleneck, has no intention of doing his job. Just imagine if a juror said, hey, don't worry about it. We'll be working with the defendant and his attorneys to ensure that there's not a guilty verdict. Just imagine if that happened. Mitch McConnell said, I'm going to go over there and we're going to sit down with the president. We're going to sit down and we're going to figure out a strategy that's all of us together and to hold us together at the head. And we'll be working a total coordination with the president in our sides. Like, did you even understand what the hell he even says 95% of the time? What the hell are you saying? Open your mouth. Damn. Open your mouth so people can understand what the hell you're saying. You weirdo. You freak. Like, you're a freak of nature. Get out of here. Seriously. But what are you saying? Can you imagine that? Imagine somebody a juror says, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry, you guys. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure that nothing happens at all. This defendant's going to get off. This is before trial. And the juror's saying that. Can you imagine what would happen to that juror? Can you imagine that being allowed? Would we as a society allow that to happen? But we're allowing it to happen here. We really are. We're allowing it to happen here. The truth is, let's just be candid here. Republicans are a complete embarrassment. The way that they have handled this impeachment inquiry shows that they are completely unqualified to lead the United States of America. I don't know why any one of them are in office. And let me just tell you something else. It was very, very funny that happened. They literally couldn't find any qualified lawyer to support their charade. So they hired, during their impeachment inquiry, they hired a lawyer that couldn't even afford a briefcase. He walked in with a bag that looks like he got it from Aldi's. Like, you know those bags at Aldi's and some of these grocery stores and people like that sell? He looked like he walked in with a bag from Aldi's. You're walking into a hearing, a congressional hearing, and you bring a grocery bag? I mean, what in the world? But listen to him getting dismantled by Democratic lawyers. Just listen to how embarrassing this guy is. This is supposedly supposed to be a lawyer. Here it is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Castro, you were aware that President Trump announced his candidacy for re-election in 2020, and he announced it the month before the July 25th call on June 21st?
Okay.
Did you find that? Did you look at that in your investigation as part of looking at President Trump's intent and what he intended on the July 25th call?
I mean, the date he announced his, he's obviously running for re-election. What is the date he announced his intent to run for re-election matter?
And, sir, you knew that President Biden had already announced his intent to run in April of that year, too, correct?
It's been related to me. I don't know when Vice President Biden indicated he was going to run as I sit here today.
Sir, you would agree with me that if the Ukraine announced a corruption investigation of former Vice President Joe Biden, that would hurt his credibility as a candidate. Would you agree with that basic principle, sir?
Well, nobody...
Yes or no, sir? Would you agree with that principle?
Well, I slightly disagree with the predicate, with the premise of your question, because
Chairman,
we're talking about
I
Hunter
object to
Biden.
the question that requests opinion evidence.
Okay, I mean, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean you did not look? You don't really know why it matters, or whether or not he's when he decided to run for re-election, when he decided to announce he's running for re-election, and when Joe Biden is running for re-election, when Joe Biden announced it. What do you mean you don't know that? You're supposed to be the lawyer that reviewed all the evidence, is supposed to make coherent arguments on behalf of the GOP. You didn't check that one out? And then you can't answer the question as whether or not this would have been beneficial to Trump, because you just disagree with the predicate and the premise. You didn't even do your own damn job. You know, the truth is, the reason why Republicans probably couldn't get anybody that was willing to embarrass themselves to do this, because I'm telling you, they're probably calling around like, "Hey, Joe, hi. How you doing, buddy?" Like, who is this? That's me. Hi, this is Jim. This is Jim from the Ohio State wrestling coach. He's a shower with boys. Yeah. I just wanted to know whether or not you'd be willing to be the lawyer for us in these upcoming hearings. The person's like, "Oh, what's the date?" Friday. I need you Friday. Gonna need you for a little while too. Oh, Friday. Oh, sorry, Jim. I've got a spa date. Oh, and I can't cancel. I can't anymore. That's the second time I've canceled. I'm really sorry. You're gonna have to call Charlie. He called up Charlie. Charlie's like, oh my God. Let me call you right back. Okay. I'll call you right back. All right. I'll call you right back. He never hears from Charlie again. You know why? Because what lawyer that has even a nickel worth of a reputation is going to want to defend Republicans in this? You can't defend this. You can't defend it. This is absolutely indisputably, unequivocally impossible to really defend. The only way they're going to be able to win this is by rigging it. But let me let you listen to some more of this so-called lawyer that Republicans brought there to testify on their behalf. Just listen to this guy. He's so embarrassing.
What else Ms. Williams said? Can we put up slide 8? This is from Ms. Williams' public testimony at 34. She said, quote, "I thought that the references to specific individuals in investigations such as former Vice President Biden and his son struck me as political in nature, given that former Vice President is a political opponent of the President." So you left that out of your staff report too, didn't you?
Well, you know, Miss Williams.
Sir, did you leave that out of your report, yes or no?
If you're telling me I did, I don't know as I sit here right now whether that's in the report.
I'm telling you you did.
Okay.
And you have an explanation, sir, where you said Miss Williams said.
I mean, they were literally laughing at this guy. They were laughing at him. The guy was getting laughed at. Okay? He couldn't even answer a question. Yes or no? Just answer yes or no. If you're telling me I did, then I guess I did. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I did. I don't know. I mean, okay, then I did. This is who you hired? We're supposed to take this seriously? Really? Any intellectual person out there in the world should be laughing at this whole charade of Republicans. Anyone that is supporting them can no longer argue that they are supporting people who are competent and worthy of their positions. These are some of the most incompetent people in America. Your elected leader should be able to, at a minimum, afford a lawyer that doesn't stuff all his legal materials in a grocery bag. I mean, damn, get a briefcase. You can go to Kmart or Walmart and get one. They should be able to make coherent and logical arguments. They should be able to apply the law fairly and objectively, irrespective of their party affiliation. They should have the discernment not to talk about alleged drug addiction, knowing that they have been accused and arrested for a DUI, like Matt-Gaetz tried to do with Hunter Biden, and it backfired because the Representative Johnson was like, "Oh, look at the pot calling the kettle black." when somebody might have had a DUI, you should see Matt-Gaetz' face. It was just like, his face could have exploded literally in that entire hearing. But they should be able to coach Ohio State wrestlers without showering with them and failing to report abuse of them. They should be able to understand their oath of office. They should understand the grounds for impeachment and removal. They should be able to check the flagrant foul in the White House. There are hundreds of bills that have been passed by the House, and Mitch McConnell, the turtleneck, has not taken up any of them with the Senate. Bills that could even help their own supporters, their own voters. What they have done that's benefited the American public is zero since they've been given power. That's it. They've done zero to benefit anybody. Don't tell me about the tax cuts, because I will literally laugh in your face for 30 minutes straight and I will not move. I will stand there with my feet planted and just laugh in your face for 30 minutes straight if you dare try to tell me about the tax cuts. They have not done anything to benefit the American public. So why have we given them power? They've proven to be woefully unqualified, and as a consequence of their incompetence, the country is stagnant, void of any meaningful progression. It is time to stop rewarding incompetence. No matter what you think about the Democrats, it is safe to say they are much better at governing. Whether you like everything they do or you don't, they are much more competent. It is time to stop voting Republican. You can no longer justify voting for Republicans. Everything I showed you today shows you the regression of Republicans. There was a time period when Republicans believed that they still had to speak out against an imposter president, a terrible president, and Nixon isn't even as bad as Donald Trump. All those things that Lawrence Hogan was saying about Nixon is very synonymous to what's going on today. But Trump has done more things than that. Trump has done terrible things, worse than that, such as keeping kids in cages and not caring, such as letting his kids basically exploit the entire treasury and be able to just take our money and fly around and use it for their own personal gain. He's been taking our money and supporting his own properties. He's been getting money from foreign powers. He's neglecting his responsibility to the globe in terms of foreign policy. He's done way worse things than Nixon has. I go on and on and on about the things that he's done. The bottom line is that Republicans are an embarrassment. And in 2020, we have to make sure that we send a message to Republicans in Congress that you're not qualified to be here. So we're going to get rid of you and you're gone. Goodbye. All right, guys, that's it for me today. I don't feel very good. Like I said, I'm very exhausted, but nevertheless, I thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll be back next week. You guys have a great Saturday. Talk to you guys soon, hopefully sooner rather than later. All right, guys, take care.